I use systems every day when trying to find my first consulting job. And I personally think systems are the best way to reach your goals, both personally and professionally. And today I want to show you the three systems I used to help me land my first consulting job as a biology major, and the lessons I learned and the things that will help you after my 10,000 hours in the consulting world. So, first, let's talk about what systems are before we start. I think it is really important to have this basic understanding of systems and goals versus systems. So let's take an example. A goal could be, hey, I want to lose some weight. So it's easy to have a goal, but you don't really know the path you're on to achieve that goal. And your system are kind of the steps you take, the path that you can take towards that goal. So my system for losing weight could be, hey, I just want to lift 3 times a week and do cardio twice a week. Of course, there's other things, other systems you can have around your meals. I'm gonna have these macros, or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna get 10,000 steps a day. All these things are great. And then a tactic within those systems could be, hey, I'm gonna set my shoes by the door. These are just small actions that you could take to help bolster those systems to ultimately reach your goal of losing weight, right? Now the thing is, systems are action focused, while goals are outcome focused. So in reality, let's say we don't even have our goal of losing weight, right? So let's just say I, as a person, lift 3 times a week and do cardio twice a week and eat in a calorie deficit. I'm gonna lose weight without having my goal of wanting to lose weight. That's just a fact of life, you know? But you can also have a goal, conversely, and not do those things, and you'll never achieve your goal. So that kind of shows the power of having systems over goals, because you can have a goal, not take steps towards it, obviously, and not achieve it, or you cannot have a goal, take the necessary steps that fall into the category of achieving that goal, and end up achieving it without even thinking about it. So it really shows that systems are super important. Another thing that's really important about systems is they're data driven and highly measurable, because they're, again, action focused. And a lot of actions are based in data. You can take a lot of data from them. So goals are great and definitely needed. I have many goals myself, but systems are really what help you get the job done day to day. And I highly recommend reading Atomic Habits. There's a great audiobook as well. You have Spotify, I believe you can listen up to, 16 hours a month or something. So highly recommend reading Atomic Habits. It'll definitely help you understand this topic at length. So our first system is volume. Now, if your goal is to land a job in consulting, the first system you should try out revolves around how you'll get these applications to these consulting jobs. Really, how much are you outputting? And I'm not trying to say go on your Sigma grind set, but it really is important to get a good amount of volume out in terms of applications, because it gives you a lot of data. And this data will really shape the next steps you take after you send out your 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 applications, whatever the case is. So, and the amount of applications, the volume of applications really depends on you, your current situation. If you're in dire need of a job, then you should be sending out 20 applications a week, maybe more, 25, 30, 40 applications a week. And granted, a lot of these applications won't be the most perfect cover letter, perfect this, perfect that. But again, it's all data that helps you make educated steps towards your next move. So now, like I said, you can do less or more depending on your situation. But again, more volume is more skin in the game and more data for us to make educated decisions after the fact. But I do want to stress there is a law of diminishing return. More output doesn't necessarily mean more outcome. So just because you send more applications doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the desired outcome you want faster. But it will give you the data you need, like I said before, to shape how you're going to take those next steps. So highly, highly recommend your first system being designating a certain amount of applications that will go out per week. Let's say, I'll give a number, 10 applications. So from Monday through Friday, you send out 2 a day. And that is a good system to start, because it is, one, measurable, and it is action based. So you're sending out 2 a day, and that's great. So now we'll move on to system number 2. So now what do we do with all this data that we get from sending out all those applications? We need to refactor. So by refactoring, I mean, you take the data that you got from sending out all those applications and you notice trends. Hey, this worked for this worked for that. You see by industry, what words you used, what verbs you used, all these little things that help you change what you need to change. So you have to keep refactoring your resume. So for this system specifically, I think it's important that you review your resume on a weekly basis. If you're really in your Sigma grind set, maybe you review it bi-weekly. So understanding, okay, I sent out this group of applications, I sent out 5 applications to this specific industry. We'll say a finance role. Okay, I got 1 callback I got 2 callbacks using this resume because it had this wording, and then these 3, I didn't get anything. Okay, that gives me an educated data set that I can use to make further actions afterwards. So next I'll try the following week using these specific words, verbs, whatever the case is, and see what data do I get back. Did it work more? Do I get 3 this week instead of 5, or 3 instead of 2? Great, now let's keep doing what works, keep doing more of what works. And AI is super helpful with this. If you want to know how to use AI for this, definitely let me know. I've used AI plenty to help fix my resumes, but also help optimize my resumes for a lot of these positions. So a tip for this, definitely keep a running list of your resumes and keep track of which ones get callbacks and which ones don't. Because again, these are the data points that will help inform our future decisions. Now, our last system that we'll be discussing today is your network. Very important. So for networking, your system will be, you'll want to reach out to a certain number of contacts per week. So again, this is entirely dependent on you. The beauty of this is it's completely tailored to your situation. If you're somebody who is, a little bit more shy, more reserved, you don't feel like you have what it takes to reach out to somebody in a cold fashion, start with 1 person a week. Literally say, on Wednesday at 5 p.m., I'm going to send out a LinkedIn DM to X recruiter, or I'll send out X DM to colleague from my old job or alumni from my university, whatever the case is. Send out 1 a week. If you're more extroverted, you feel more social, send out 1 a day. But again, if you're really trying to get out of your industry, I suggest reaching out to more people, because maybe your network isn't the right network to be in for getting into a particular industry, but someone else's network might definitely be. Personally, I was able to jump from my boutique firm to a Big 4 firm by reaching out to my network. My network had referred me to my Big 4 position. I got my first callback, did my interview, and then got the job. So I highly recommend reaching out to your network. You don't know where it'll take you, and I definitely recommend it. So some action items I want to talk about. 1, 5 applications per day. Number 2, we're doing 1 review per week. And 3, we're doing 1 network per week. Whoa. So 5 interviews out per day, 1 review done per week. And if you need help with reviews, definitely reach out to me on DMs. I'll be happy to help. And then 1 network per week. So reach out to 1 person per week to do some kind of networking. And if you need help with how to network, definitely reach out. And I'm planning to make a video on that as well.